Hello YouTube community. Today I want to talk about the latest news from the world of Linux software, and I will focus mainly on the software that I use. I have a spreadsheet with 2 pages. The first page includes all the major Linux distros. The main news this month is that the Linux kernel is now up to version 6.17, and the latest Debian distro is at version 13. Everything else is steady, with Mint version 22.2, although my desktop computer is version 22.1. The second page includes all the software I use. Chromium and Firefox are keeping their pace of regular updates. LibreOffice is now up to version 25.8, although my personal version is 24.2. I must say that Linux has come a long way from its birth back in 1991. I remember I was first introduced to Linux many years ago, maybe in the mid or late 90s. I had a friend who installed Linux on an old computer. When we turned it on, all I saw were a few characters which didn't mean anything to me, and a flashing cursor. And the only command I knew was the old DOS dir command, or ls. I'm not sure how I learned about ls, or if whether dir also worked, but I couldn't do anything else. That was about it. So it was kind of a letdown, but I always kept Linux in the back of my mind. So looking through my bookshelves, I still have an old CD from September 1999 with Debian version 2.1. I must have purchased some magazine and the CD came with it. And I have another CD from March 2000 with version 1.1 of the Kernel Linux OS. Kernel was an interesting company with lots of potential. They had a very good graphical program called Corel Draw, and then they purchased WordPerfect. And with their own version of Linux, there was a brief time when you could go head-to-head against Microsoft. But alas, it was not meant to be. I see that it was rebranded last year as Aludo, pronounced all you do, aludo.com. So they still sell Corel Draw and WordPerfect, but I don't know anybody who uses them, although they were good products. In 2000, we had a file sharing and printer server at work, and I purchased copies of Debian Linux from a guy called Chagai in Manitoba. He copied all the binaries and source files, and we purchased it as a set of 4 CDs. I still have the CDs and the invoice from November 2000. Then a few years later, in June 2008, I bought the second generation of the Asus EEE PC 900. It was smaller than a regular laptop, and it was perfect to take on my vacation. It had Wi-Fi and could get on the internet. I still have it. The last OS it had was Mint 13 Maya. It wasn't until a few years later that I gave up on my Windows desktop computer once and for all, and I started using Linux. Happy birthday, Linux, and all the programmers pushing the bounds of free operating system, and to all of us using free software. Enjoy.